cowboy. Let's shoot.
Oh, okay. All right. I hope to God that this doesn't like pick up in the back. I've got the fan on my Chromebook just decided to start going wee.
like so many failing turbos.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So some exciting news on well, I shouldn't say exciting news, some depressing news from the world of wrestling. I know, Rich, you're extremely torn up about this. Do you want to lead off with it?
It's clobbering time. We're going to clobber Tony Khan and lose out on millions of dollars. Because he looks like a mark when he's standing there holding onto that microphone and just talking stiffly into the camera. And announcing that it's finally just one too many backroom. That's not the way to put it. Oh, they fired CM Punk. CM Punk's gone.
So behind the scenes, CM Punk has just finally gotten to the point where it's an untenable relationship in AEW. Just with what's come out, and this one's probably not true, but there was also a leaked story from someone that Punk had gotten into it with William Regal when William Regal was there. And so if that's true too, which normally I would say fuck off at somebody just trying to, play it up to get their 15 minutes of fame, but I believe it at this point.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. Or in his case, where there's smoke, this fire burns.
But
yeah.
I actually, I've been a staunch supporter of CM Punk. I've stood up for him all through this whole thing. I actually, the other day, I wore my CM Punk shirt to do lawn work, to do yard work, specifically because it was going to be the last time that I would wear it. And before I came in the house, it was covered in mud. It was covered in all kinds of stuff. And I threw it in the trash can before I walked back in the house. So that'll show him.
Good for you.
What do you think of that, Phil?
I stopped drinking Pepsi.
Hell yeah. Coca-Cola, brother.
Yeah. I know, to steal a reference from sports, the clubhouse cancer.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what it seems like he's been over the years. And I think that's obviously makes a lot of sense as to why he stayed away from wrestling for so long until the next big money opportunity arose, really.
Right. Well,
other than the pending lawsuit or the lawsuit at the time and all that crap, but whatever. Look, he had a big money opportunity. They basically made an entire show or two shows, if you really want to go down that way, for him,
right,
in being Rampage and Collision.
Right.
And he just spit right in their faces, didn't he?
Well, and let's look at it this way too. And this is where I just don't understand the whole situation. And I got to think that there's some kind of something undiagnosed. And I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm not saying it as a dig, because, I take mental health very seriously. There's got to be something wrong up here, because you look back and there's so many people, even recently, that have come out and Punk has legitimately stepped up and helped them. Danhausen being one of them. There's Lufisto. There's a bunch of different wrestlers that have come out even recently, and just FTR, and they've said, Punk has been really good to us. He's done this, he's done that stuff nothing gets brought up good until the people he does it for are finally tired of taking the shit of him being such a, he's such a piece of shit. He's this, he's that. And then they finally are like, look, man, you can say whatever you want about him, but he's good in my book. This is what he did. And even to the point where when he first joined AEW and he was on commentary during a Jack Perry match of all matches. And he said, I don't think anyone in this industry has anything bad to say about Jack Perry. If you have a problem with Jack Perry, you are more than likely the problem.
Yeah, and that's pretty deep considering the circumstances we're at now, which partially of what led to his firing,
Right.
We're not gonna, obviously sugarcoat the whole Tony Khan incident itself, but
right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, look, maybe Jack Perry was in the wrong. Well, I'm tending to believe that Jack Perry was in the wrong too, but he didn't take it as far as Punk did, and he doesn't have the history of causing issues that Punk has. If Punk didn't have the history, then I would still be on board. I would still be, oh man, fuck Jack Perry. I'm still saying fuck Jack Perry. Like, I've never enjoyed him as a wrestler anyway, but this just cements it. Like, I still don't like Hangman Page. I still don't watch the Elite or any of that shit. And even they took a cheap shot at him drinking on being the Elite. And I saw this on the dirt sheets. During being the Elite, they grabbed a Pepsi and they started drinking it and they go, ew, this tastes like shit, and then grabbed a Coke. So clearly they're, taking the piss out of Punk. And I think that that's fucked up and immature too. But again, Punk has, you don't go after the boss of the company, you dipshit.
yeah. Rich, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this whole, kind of like the resident AEW expert here.
What's neat is ever since he came back from his injury, whenever he came out on any one of the shows, most of the crowds were booing him. And I don't know if it's just, he was even playing a heel. It was just people don't seem to like him. I was never a big fan of, I didn't watch him in in quotes, ECW or any of his WWE stuff. So I just saw him or know him as an old man in AEW. But no, I mean, it goes back to that stuff you used to hear about, at least they friends, but like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall back in the locker room, that whole clique thing. But this is more just like, I think I'm the best, so I'm going to act like an asshole. And I think Bob's right. I think there's some kind of anger issues that if he just quit that straight edge lifestyle and drank a little bit, he may have still been going strong. I don't know what more he needed. He has, he's got WWF money, WWE money. He's going home to AJ Lee or whatever her real name is. He's going to do okay.
Yeah,
I don't know, but you're right. They made that Saturday show for him, so he wouldn't have to be in the same arena as the Elite, as the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and that was quick.
Yeah, and they've already come out and basically said that they basically had a soft roster split, and that's gone. So there's always repercussions to whenever you get rid of one of your big guns, and you're starting to see some of the fallout from that. But and I've said it on here before. I've always enjoyed some of his work. I always enjoyed his mic work, but I was never like a huge fan. And I don't know why. I just always thought that and maybe because that was just what I thought. I just thought the guy was like the ultimate heel. Maybe I just didn't like him for that reason. Like as a true wrestling fan,
right.
Oh yeah, I hate this guy because he's like the bad guy. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But it's never something about him. I just never really resonated with me. And I always wish there were those cool feuds that they could have had, like Stone Cold and CM Punk, and they really have those types of things. That's the way I always thought he'd be really cool to see positioned. Right. Obviously, that never happened, and I don't think it ever will happen. But
we'll see, and that's what we're missing out on with him, blowing his deal up and going out of AEW now. Is we're robbed of the rematches of Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk, because they were some fantastic matches in ROH. And dude, you never would have thought, you're watching back then, Tyler Black, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, three of the top three wrestlers of the indies back then are now, were three of the top names in quote unquote mainstream wrestling. And now you already lost your chance at Tyler Black versus CM Punk because he burned his bridges out of WWE. And I don't buy for a second that WWE is even giving any thought to bringing him back. There's no way.
Yeah, and I honestly think Tyler Black, who is known there as Seth Rollins, he absolutely hates him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no love lost there. In
Yeah.
fact, I think whenever it was coming out that he was supposed to be making a return, I want to say that Seth probably put the foot down on that one. Was like, hell no.
Yeah. Right. And then, like I said, Bryan Danielson, he's not going to be wrestling forever. And I feel like this AEW is going to be the last place he works for.
Well, there were rumors that that Impact wanted him, but Impact's that one federation that I have no idea how to watch it. Like, it's probably out there somewhere.
It's out there. You can watch it, but I don't know how.
It's on channel for DirecTV subscribers. It's on channel 4,867 Saturday mornings at 2:35 p.m.
Nope, 2:37.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry.
2:37.
I make a joke, but you're right, Rich. That's how it is. It's goofy. It's on some weird channel that no one has.
I've got the DVR recording Women of Wrestling, and I have no idea what channel that's on either. It's just like they just showed up one day and said, "Oh, we'll record this," which links back. I think AJ Lee has some kind of ownership in the current version of that. Yeah, it's unwatchable. It's totally unwatchable. It's a horrible show.
Well, that's unwatchable. AEW signed all the good women that WWE doesn't have, and they're just not using them.
Yeah, it's unwatchable, and you can't jerk off to it. It's just not worth it one way or the other. It's horrible.
So to anyone who's listening and Richie, your audio stuttered there for a minute. What he said is it's unwatchable, and you can't even jerk off to it.
No, that's horrible.
So that's kind of our rating system at this point. Like, something can be bad, but it's not irredeemable as long as you can jerk off to it.
No,
maybe that's how CM Punk felt about the company. It's like, I just can't do this anymore.
I can't work here, and I can't jerk off to Tony Khan.
The program he had with before he got injured with MJF, that was really good. And there was like chances that MJF could have. Well, MJF's the champion now, so I guess he wouldn't be going after the. They dropped the whole, like, they brought back the real world championship that he was supposed to be. Now they're pretending he doesn't exist, so that real world championship hasn't been mentioned since anything went down. It's he's a ghost.
Well, he's like Chris Benoit.
Exactly, get the Benoit treatment. I am curious though. I know because we just kind of touched on it there, and Bob, with you saying, I think this is the last time he, obviously wrestles, maybe and specifically for major organization. What are his next steps then?
I don't know that he has them. Honestly, he's not going to do UFC anymore or MMA anymore. He's definitely not doing UFC.
Oh yeah,
yeah, right. He's been doing some acting. He's on that show Heels, which is on Stars, which, if you haven't watched it, it's actually really good. It's starring the dude that played the Arrow on CW, but it's it's basically a small town. Huh?
Something Amell.
Stephen Amell. Yeah. So it's about this this small town wrestling, like, it's been passed down from father to son, and it's kept this town on the map. And basically, I think it's in Georgia or something like that. And this this guy who is supposed to be Paul Heyman, and they're supposed to this organization he runs is supposed to be ECW, but it's out of Florida. It's like Florida Combat Wrestling or Extreme Combat Wrestling or something like that. That's their big competition. And CM Punk is an old school wrestler who comes to town and helps this Georgia-based one. And he's got, he goes through and he's got like hookers with him and stuff. And he plays like a super redneck. Like, he's got a mullet, like a full-on mullet, like Joe Dirt style mullet. And he's like, his name is like Rodney Rotten or something like that. It's fucking hilarious. But the show is actually good. I've enjoyed it. And there's a little bit of nudity in it. So, that's always cool too.
Wasn't he announcing for like MMA or one of those things for a while too?
Maybe. Maybe. But I want to get
commentary.
I want to get one more thing in on Punk, and then let's get off of wrestling for a little bit, because we've spent way too much time talking about it. And I've gotten feedback from some people that don't listen if we talk about wrestling too much, which is why we only have one listen per episode. But that's besides the point. Does it strike any of you as weird that there's certain superstars and certain legends within the company that are cool with Punk and that think highly of him? We talked about Danhausen and some of the guys don't really, that don't really have the exposure and the name recognition and the brand recognition. But guys like he went up on stage during Mick Foley's Hall of Fame presentation. Chris Jericho is good with him. He's on good terms with him. And I don't know if maybe that's a situation where Punk is sucking up to them because even though he's CM Punk, he knows his limits and he knows not to step on Mick Foley's feet or on Jericho's feet or on Stone Cold's feet. Is it that situation, or because they seem to genuinely like him too? So how does that play out? How is he such a polarizing person to where you either love this dude or you fucking hate him, and there's not really much in between?
The folks you just mentioned, Foley, Jericho, so forth, I think it says more of them as their character because they tend to be like all-encompassing. I mean, I know that they've crossed paths, burned bridges, whatever during their careers, but it's really rare to hear anybody ever say an ill word about either of those guys.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
So I think it just speaks more to their character than of his necessarily. And you might be onto something with the, sucking up part. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. But I don't know. That's my perception.
I mean, even Heyman, who's like a complete rabble rouser, and maybe that's why they get along. Heyman,
it could be. It's a personality thing. I don't know. He's really easy to tell that he can rub people the wrong way, and which would be interesting if he did make more of a full push into acting, because it would be curious to see who else he pisses off.
Yeah. But I mean, even him and Cena, him and Cena are cool. Him and The Rock are cool. It's just it's strange.
Well, we figured it out. So he'll be in the next installment of the Fast and Furious,
or he'll be in the next Marine movie.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Oh wait, no. The Miz is in that.
He's still doing those?
Yeah, the Miz is still the Marine, and he told last interaction that I remember with Miz and CM Punk was CM Punk telling him on Twitter to go suck a Saudi blood money soaked dick and then called him a dork. He was a fucking dork.
So what we're saying is CM Punk isn't all bad.
Yeah.
So basically, at this point, the Miz is like a 4-star general, right?
I would imagine
he's got to be, right?
Yeah, if he's. I mean, but 3 of those stars are because he's fucking Maurice.
CM Punk was right before he left, right after he left WWE, he was in the Scooby-Doo meets the WWE movie because they're done so far in advance. It's funny guy.
Was he a good guy or a bad guy?
They were all good guys in that. I forget. It was a fake ghost that had nothing to do with anything else. The Undertaker was a really scary demon, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It would have been funny if they would have like hacked it up like Poochie style, and when they pulled off the mask, it was CM Punk's head just like taped over.
That's the way it should have been.
He died on the voyage. Will never be seen again.
Yeah. I've got to go. My home planet needs me.
Oh man.
Oh shit. Poochie may have sucked, but at least he can jerk off to him.
Wow.
I have a feeling he has too much money set aside, but if he decides to open an OnlyFans with AJ Lee, I'd subscribe day one.
I didn't doubt it.
First in line.
Speaking of sticks and such, So we wwere talking, Rich, on the was it how many podcasts ago was it? How many episodes? Oh, by the way, our fucking the bracket of bad episode was number 200. Was episode 200.
We don't really
Wow.
pay attention to that stuff, do we?
No, we should.
No.
We
Yeah.
should. I mean, granted, we posted them a little out of order because that one took fucking forever for you to edit because we're assholes. But you did a great job. I actually cracked up laughing at one point, like listening to our own stupid ass shit. So, but anyway, so we talked a couple episodes ago about the manual transmission going away, and we were talking about different cars that have it, and you know how to drive a manual, right?
Yes. Rich, you weren't on this episode. Sorry, I saw the look on your face. You're
Okay.
like, what in the
Yeah.
world are you talking about?
Yeah,
Sorry, I had to interject there because Rich was like lost.
yeah. No, so
I'm
Tom, I know
usually
you
kind
were.
of tired when we record these, so it's possible I was there and just totally forgot about it. But I don't think it was ever that bad.
Yeah, but
No,
I
no,
just
no.
I
This was just
learned
a
with like
comment.
console shift. So like that's so anything console or floor. So like that Mercury that I have is a column. And like I stole that. I mean I could probably do it to save my life, but like I never really could figure it out. Because it's weird. It's almost like backwards on the column.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I wouldn't want to do a column shift, but
it's weird. So
a standard, 5 or 6 speed or even 4 speed on the floor, that's something that I know how to drive. Tom, you know how to drive. Have you ever driven a manual, Rich? No.
No, I don't know how to drive a manual. I don't want to know how to drive a manual. If my car could drive for me, I would let it.
dude, I'm
All
with you on that one too.
So you won't really much care about this, but we were talking about it in a couple of the companies that still have them, and actually I found out and sent an article over to Tom that Mini is actually doing away with their manual transmissions, which is strange, seeing as they were based on rally. They do a lot of rally stuff, so it's just strange to see them getting away from that. But let's go on to something that we all.
I used to like hearing the Top Gear guys talk about flappy paddle gearboxes or those little flappy paddle things.
Oh yeah, little paddle
A
shifts.
paddle shift? Yeah.
Yeah. They call them flappy paddle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of
That
funny
makes
how many cars actually have those.
Yeah.
And not just, obviously there's a lot of automatics that have, paddle shifting. It's like a sport mode thing.
Yeah, I've seen far more automatics that have them.
Yeah. In fact, I've accidentally I have an Explorer and a Colorado, and it's funny because they both have all the buttons behind the wheel. Well, I get confused sometimes, like I don't remember which one I'm driving, and like I'll hit the button thinking it's going to change the song, and all it does is change gear. And I'm like, damn it!
All of a sudden, Tom's truck is just.
The last two cars I've had has that fake, or maybe it's not fake, but it's got that you can push the thing over to the side, and then if you want to go up or down gears, you can shift up or down. But I never learned how to use it.
It's not too hard. You just.
If I put it in D, it does it for me. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
and I'm all about
that's kind of how I like to operate too.
Yeah, we know you're all about the D, Rich.
All about the D.
But so let's talk. There's three video game related things that I wanted to hit. Number one, we did finally get the pricing announcement and the new actual name of the Project Q from Sony. It's called the PlayStation Portal. $200. Still can't play games on it outside of your house. It's got to be connected to your Wi-Fi. So really, how are we feeling about this thing at $200?
I think the only thing that you made a comment on when we were bashing the absolute crap out of this thing, and this is the only thing I possibly thought about, was that if you are in an environment that you have one television with your PlayStation hooked up to it and you're watching something else, but somebody really wants to play something, child, significant other, whatever, like you could watch your show and they could connect to the PlayStation and play their game. That's the only use case I could really think of.
Like a 4K TV for around $200 now, though. I mean,
I know, but I'm talking about like if you're living in a small confined space, one TV, there's no look, it's ridiculous, like the amount of TVs we have that we don't even use. It's sad, actually. It's a spoils of riches almost. But like, if you're in a confined space where you just apartment one, I totally see that. Totally see that. But no,
Yeah.
to your point, Rich. Yeah, I mean, I bought the TV for my camper for $100, which is insane. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's all that I see it with it. Like, drop it to $100, and I might buy one for the convenience of laying in bed and as I'm trying to go to sleep, being able to play my PlayStation because my PlayStation's in the other room. But like that, maybe not even at 100. It would probably have to go down to like 75. Make it the same. No, make it. How much is a dual shot or dual sense controller? What is
They're
it
like what, $70-$75, aren't they?
Right. So make it $80. No, 100 would be fair. Make it 100, and I will consider buying it, and then I still won't do it because I still can't justify $100, so I don't have to move my PlayStation into my bedroom.
Did they also announced the battery life too? Was like still low, like 3-4 hours.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, which would be perfect for the situation I just described, where I'm just like, I want to go to sleep, but I need to do it in my bed, not out on the couch. I'm going to take my PlayStation Portal with me. But also I have a Switch, so I could just play that instead. I don't have to buy a new fucking PlayStation Portal.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Baldur's Gate 3 on your Switch.
That's true.
Yeah,
you can't
fair.
play Baldur's Gate 3 you can play it on a Series S, but not with, what is it, multiplayer that they took out?
I know it's out tomorrow for the Friday, whatever. PS5.
Yeah. That was one thing I was curious. We talked about this before. Like, what is also just not prohibiting you from getting just the backbone? Like, we all have smartphones, and the backbone's what, $100?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cheaper. It's half the price, and I don't know. It's just really weird device. Really weird. I'm not gonna say this is gonna, like, obviously it's not gonna torpedo the company. It's just a weird release.
Right. It's kind of like one of those things where, remember when they had the PSP Go,
Mm-hmm.
and it took it and it shrank it in, removed the optical drive, and then it would pop up, and it was just like a condensed. I didn't understand that one, because then you have all these games that you bought physically that you can't play on it, and I think, what did they give you, a digital coupon where you could buy it for like $5 off or something if you had the physical copy, and then but the controller was small too,
Right.
so
this is gonna be one of those peripherals like 35 years from now, Rich is gonna have, and it's gonna be worth like $5 million because no one else bought it.
It's like I never thought, like, well, who needs a PlayStation TV? That's a stupid thing too. The PlayStation Vita up to your TV that was on clearance for like $20 forever, and now is like a $500 thing on.
But see,
because you can jailbreak it and you can play jailbroken things now. Yeah.
Well, to your point with that one, though, I understand the reason for that existing, because there's people that don't want to buy a full-fledged Vita, but they still want to play some of the games, and they want to play it on a TV. All right, cool. I get that. I wanted one of those so bad, and then for whatever reason, I just never ended up grabbing it, and I really wish I did.
I think it was the PS4. Either the PS3 or the PS4, I played remote play on the Vita, not just in the house, but like at my parents' house at the shore. And when I want to play the games over the network, it could play other games or play movies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And again, it wasn't $200, but it was like $250. I think I got it used, so I think I paid maybe $200. Yeah.
Well, and then there was the newer version of it, the OLED that came out. That was, or was it? No, it wasn't an OLED. It was an LCD.
It was an OLED first. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was I think was 200 at launch.
Yeah.
So, dude, there's just so many things that they could have done better and made it palatable. But I'm not spending $200 on a fucking.
No, it goes back to the one we've talked about this on here. let's make a device. Let's take away things that it had, and yeah, we'll make it a little cheaper, but it took all the good things away.
Right.
So,
So speaking of devices and such, our good friends Nintendo, there's been some scuttlebutt going around the net that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct in the lead up to Tokyo Game Show or Tokyo Gamescom or whatever the fuck it is coming up. And so they did a Treehouse Direct, or not a Treehouse Direct, but a Super Mario Wonder Direct to show some gameplay, which I think looks fantastic. I'm super excited about that game. And they're releasing a new OLED red Mario Edition Switch. Comes with a red dock, red Joy-Cons, and everything. I think it looks everything they're doing for Super Mario Wonder. I'm super on board with. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Everything?
Why? What are they doing?
They got rid of Charles Martinet. He's not going to be the voice of Mario in Super Mario.
No,
Wonder.
this is his last game.
No, he's not in it.
What do you mean he's not in it?
He's not in it. They made the announcement that he was leaving so that you wouldn't be surprised that he wasn't going to be voicing Mario in Super Mario Wonder.
Wait.
oh boy, here we go. Oh boy.
Chris Pratt here on out. Actually, I don't know who's doing the voice, but it's Charles Martinet.
It would only make sense if it was Chris Pratt. The final Super Mario game released that will feature his voice is Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the one thing I'm not on board with. But honestly, he was going to retire at some point. Let's hear what the voice sounds like. I'm sure it's not going to be that much fucking different because who the fuck else can't go, here we go? Like it's not that fucking hard. It's not that in-depth a character. I don't really give two shits. I'm going to put down anyway. It's not like he's going, well, here we go, governor. He's not changing.
I guess the new actor hasn't been the name hasn't been released yet.
No,
that's because it's Richie.
I don't know.
Yes,
it's AI Lou Albano.
At least he'd be Italian, played by an Italian guy.
Are you gonna play the fucking whitewashing card too now, dickhead?
Yep. We haven't had an Italian Mario since Captain Lou Albano. It's not right.
No, you're right. You're right. But so I think that looks great. I'm super excited about it. Now I guess we'll have to see what the voice sounds like, but I'm sure it won't be bad because who the fuck cares?
They're just gonna resurrect Bob Hoskins.
Oh Jesus, no! Let that man rest. Let that man rest, please. He's earned it for fuck's sake. And then what was the so anyway, with this Nintendo Direct,
I was going to say, not to interrupt, but the Switch is on it's going to outsell the PS2 to become the highest selling console of all time. It's very close.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So they're doing a couple things that are kind of tipping their hand a little bit and doing a couple things that so far it's been leaked. And I know we've talked about leaks with this shit forever now, but supposedly they're finally going to give some information about the Switch's successor at this Nintendo Direct that's coming up. And it's supposed to launch in Q1 2024. So take that with a grain of salt. But it kind of makes sense if you look at what they're doing from a hardware perspective, where they're trying to blow out the OLED stuff they have with this new Mario set. And they're also releasing 2 different versions of the Nintendo Switch Lite with Animal Crossing themed shells on them. So there's going to be one you can get exclusively at, I think, Walmart, and one you can get exclusively at Target or Best Buy. One of them is a pink one, and it's going to be Isabel's Aloha some bullshit, and then the other one's going to be Timmy and Tommy Nook bullshit. So, yeah, I mean, they look. It's just the pink and the teal, but it's got a special little design on the back of it. So it's really not that much different. It looks like they maybe took a bunch of the old pink and teal shells and like had them etched or something. or maybe some kind of weird screen print. But looks like they're trying to blow out some inventory and make room for new. So, guess we'll see.
Cool. We got anything else in the video game space before we?
Not that I can think of off the top. Oh, yes, I do. Madden 2024. You son of a bitch. Made it all the way through my fucking franchise first season. Got to the draft. Made a few trades. Picked up some picks. Was very happy with my draft class. Until, that is, I got to the first preseason game. And in the first preseason game, I noticed that all of my draftees, all my rookies, except for one, looked the fucking same. They all had the same fucking number. They all were exactly the same body type, from my offensive linemen to my wide receivers to my running backs. And then the one guy who didn't look the same was on the defense, and his face was melting through the face mask, and he had an arm coming out of the back of his head. And he was white instead of black when he was a clearly black player. So, I, blissfully unaware, think that maybe it's just because I had an issue with downloading the draft class. It crashed when I was doing that. So maybe it's just a corrupted file. And after this game, if I go through and clean some stuff up, it'll be fine. No. I go to Google. I search Madden 24 draft glitch. And holy fucking shit, it's been going on since day one. EA is aware of it, and they have yet to fix it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I've got a wonderful game. I mean, they've cleaned up most of the. This is what's pissing me off is they've cleaned up almost every other fucking issue that I had with it. It's still got some wonky shit. Like they still have 75 cap on your roster, and then they say there's 90 people on the team, which is clearly not fucking true. And then they do the there's still some audio glitches and some little minor annoyances, but by and large, the game is completely playable. It's fun. It's enjoyable. But after you play your first fucking franchise season, you can't play any fucking further because your fucking players are goddamn mutants. And not the good kind that shoot lasers out of their eyes. The bad kinds that come out of ponds in Alabama.
They should let Charles Martinet do the announcing in the Madden game. That would be awesome. Leaving Mario just do that.
You know what? It wouldn't be much worse than what they've got now.
I thought you were going to say they had your whole rookie team up and you were getting ready to start your game, and then everybody got arrested for domestic abuse.
Jesus Christ, Richard!
I got video game news. I did. I got that controller adapter for the N64 controller for the Switch from 8-bit though. Basically, you take out the guts from a Nintendo 64 controller, throw these guts in there, and jam in this fake rumble pack that acts as the transceiver. And the Switch sees it exactly like a Switch N64 controller, which you can't get. Like I've been having like a watch list on this thing forever, and it just either sells out immediately or they haven't released new ones. And I started playing GoldenEye 64 and decided that GoldenEye 64 does not hold up. It's definitely not as good as it was when it first came out, and I kind of didn't need to play it on the Switch. It only cost me it's like $25 for the conversion kit, so that's not bad.
Yeah, I've read an article about that conversion kit, and they said it was actually really good comparative to the fact of what you just said. You can't find the 64 controller for the Switch.
It's really good. I upgraded.
I have one, and I just only because I got lucky. It was one of those deals where I was on the same thing. I was on the watch list for like 9 months, and I happened to get an email at an hour that no one else was awake. I was like, boom, I got it. So I do have one, but it's funny. It's like I was so excited to use it playing GoldenEye, and then I played it like twice. And
this is the third one of their ones I got. I picked up an upgrade kit for original NES controller and the original Super Nintendo controller. And what's cool with them is they work with the 8BitDo adapters, so I'm playing them on the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, but they don't have one of them for the Nintendo 64 yet. So this just lets you play on the Switch with the N64 controller. So as soon as they come out with that adapter for the N64, which has to be in the works, it's going to make this thing like infinitely better. I also have the separate controller I got for the Genesis. Yeah, but yeah, their stuff's really good. They're high quality. So even the regular controllers are super high quality. I definitely recommend. Yeah. And I got the Hall Effect joystick replacement, which it feels less clunky than the joystick that was there. But other than that, it's like a drop-in replacement. It's really cool.
Nice. So that reminded me I needed to check my limited run stuff.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It says it's ready. It still says it's ready, and it still says it's unfulfilled, much like me.
Oh.
So November 5th, 2021 is when the order was placed, and closing in on 2 years, boys. I'm going to have a party when it gets to 2 years.
I'm actually caught up with all their stuff.
This is the last fucking thing I'm ordering from them. I don't. Oh, fuck. You know what? Do I have any other? Hold on. You see if I have anything else outstanding from them.
I said that too, and then they put out these. It's the soundtracks for the Ninja Turtles games, and I like the Ninja Turtles, so I've been pre-ordering the records and the cassette tape for each one of them.
All right, so this is the last thing that I'm waiting on from them, and then I'm done. I can't, man. I can't fucking do it anymore. I can't wait for fucking 5 years for a fucking game. By the time this shit gets to me, I probably won't be living in Florida anymore.
Well, you don't want to spend $175 on the Castlevania Advance Ultimate Edition for the PS4.
Rather chop off my own dick and shove it up my ass.
Dang it, Bobby.